She was brave and daring. She had accomplished so many things, from flying solo across the Atlantic to trying to fly around the world. I think it's amazing that she was brave enough to try and fly around the world. Even as a child, she was daring. Maybe 6 or 7 years old, she would jump the fence instead of walk through the gate. She had a saying, "Everyone has oceans to fly if they have the heart to do it."
One of the ways that Amelia and Eleanor helped each other is if Eleanor needed something, Amelia would be there for her. And if Amelia needed something, Eleanor would be there for her. It's just one of the ways that shows them that women can do things. Sometimes they need a little help. Amelia and Eleanor became friends by this thing called the friendship plane ride. Amelia was chosen to be the first woman to cross the Atlantic. But it wasn't a solo plane ride, it was the friendship plane ride. So she decided that she was going to bring her good friend, Eleanor Roosevelt. During that ride, they found out that they had a lot in common, which only made their friendship stronger. One of the most common stories between Amelia and Eleanor is right when Amelia got her pilot's license, she decided that she was going to take her good friend Eleanor out for a ride. What some people don't know is when Eleanor got home, she asked her husband, who at that time was the president, if she could get her pilot's license. He said no, and it was too dangerous for a first lady to go up into the air.
Art students at James Morris School spent some time studying Wendell Minor and Amelia Earhart along with Eleanor Roosevelt in the art class. They started by looking at Wendell Minor's website, and we took them to a video of his book called Night Flight. The book was put to music, illustrations, and the words, and we talked about the medium that was used in the illustrations. Wendell Minor also visited us for Literacy Night so that the students got to see a real artist and a writer in person and ask him questions. Also, they incorporated making paper airplanes, which we loaded A4 paper from online. They were graphic designers. They learned the art of folding, much like origami in the Japanese culture. Students in 3rd grade studied portraits of Eleanor and Roosevelt and Amelia Earhart, looking at proportions, looking at their observations on the smartboard, and we studied them in great detail and did oil pastels. It was a great way to weave literacy, illustration, technology, just many forms of mediums in the arts.
I wrote the play, The Journey, based on true fact. Some of the lines I wrote came directly from the book, Amelia and Eleanor Go for a Ride, by Pam Minoz-Ryan. I think the most interesting thing I found out was that Amelia was really daring. She said that women must try to do things as men have tried, and when they fail, their failure must be but a challenge to others. When I wrote the play, I thought it would be easy, but I guess I was totally wrong. Writing the play was a challenge, almost as hard as flying around the world.
I am an artist, and during the winter months, I do snow sculpting. I was asked if I would be able to do a bust of Lincoln. I took the challenge and sculpted Lincoln outside our media center. This enabled participants of the program to view Lincoln during the night's activities. Because of my artistic abilities, I was once again asked to take part in this year's Literacy Night of Amelia Earhart and to do a snow sculpture of her. I had planned to do Amelia with an airplane propeller behind her, but due to the lack of snow in the Northeast, I was unable to do it. Hence, I relied on my drawing ability when asked by the students if I would be able to draw them a side view of Amelia's open cockpit airplane. They needed this for a skit they were doing on Amelia. By doing this drawing allowed me to take part in the Literacy Night program once again here at James Morris Elementary School.
How we incorporated technology into Literacy Night is that we created a Google map that we then posted for everybody to see on Literacy Night. We searched the web and found information on all of Amelia's stops, which we then placed on the Google map and put up on several different computers. We also searched the web and found a timeline of Amelia, which we printed out and pasted on the bulletin board.
We were just talking about Literacy Night at the James Morris School for 2012, this year's theme being Amelia Earhart and her friendship with Eleanor Roosevelt. So Jim and I, as professional pilots, were asked to come into the school in uniform and give a little background on our careers and a little presentation on flight.
So we were concerned as what we can show the kids and keep them interested, and also give them a brief history of what we've done and how aviation has come along the years. So we put together a collage of pictures that we have collected over the years, and collaborated with other materials that we had we're going to bring in. We put the pictures on an iPad. We brought the iPad in and put it to music and hooked it to the smartboard. We played the pictures and the music over the smartboard and gave the kids a view of what we see from up in the sky. And then had a question and answer period toward the end of the session. And then in the middle, we also did a physics portion of it, teaching the kids about aviation.
Yes, so we did a few different things. For the younger kids, we did some real simple coloring and airplane parts, and we even had a smartboard demonstration where they could move airplane parts into position and identify them. And then for the older kids, we did a little bit more of a physics aspect of the theory of flight, which we drew on the smartboard, and then we actually used a small piece of paper, had them blow on it, and showed them how an airfoil actually flew.
And the other part of it, too, is we wore uniforms that day, and the kids seemed to really enjoy it.
My first inspiration was really from my 6th grade teacher, who would read to his class every day for about 30 minutes. And for a child like myself who could not read that well, listening to his voice read the stories of Jack London and Edgar Allan Poe were absolutely magic. And in that particular period, I would imagine all these pictures in my mind, and I thought to myself, someday I'm going to draw these pictures. I had really special art teachers who encouraged me. I had a reading teacher who really took an interest in me and didn't let me give up.
I was asked by Mrs. Connery to find an inspirational song to go along with the play The Journey. After much deliberation, I decided upon Go the Distance from Disney's Hercules. I felt that the words were very appropriate. I will find my way, I can go the distance. I'll be there someday, if I can be strong. I know every mile will be worth my while. I will go most anywhere to feel like I belong. And I feel that both Amelia and Eleanor went the distance.
Mrs. Connery and I had the same conversation to try to find an inspirational song to go with the play, and I had a chance to read the rough draft of the play. And literally that day on the way home, my music was on shuffle, and a song from Kristen Chenoweth came on called I Was Here. And I played it again, and I played it again, and I kept listening to the words, and it was just so perfect. Even the first line, you will notice me. Like, I was here. It repeats 3 times at the end. I was here, I was here, I was here. Just really leaving a legacy of, I don't care what people think, I'm going to do it. It's my dream.
I've always had a fascination with Amelia Earhart because she was a woman ahead of her time. She believed that she could do anything a man can do. And my love of aviation started with my Uncle Andy, who did 35 missions in a B-17 in World War II. and told me about every mission that he ever took. I was so fascinated by the power and the courage that it took to make those kinds of missions. And when I read about Amelia and realized what she accomplished for not only for the history of aviation, but for the history of women, I decided that at one point I'd love to be able to do a book. And I was lucky enough to meet an author who was interested in doing a story about just her flight, her first transatlantic flight. And you ride with her for only 14 hours and 56 minutes. But it is the most exciting 14 hours and 56 minutes of anybody's life.